next? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I think I've done Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as well. Copy. See, this is why I didn't want sports stars when I was doing celebrities. Paste. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't know if I'm going to get this one. Let's get rid of that hyphen in the middle. Right, it's not coming up. So this one is the one that fought Bruce Lee in Game of Death. I don't know, whatever they call it. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Fist of Fury, Game of Death. It was Game of Death. Images. I remember when I first saw Bruce Lee come up against this one. And I was like, Bruce, you're screwed. Because she's so big compared to Bruce Lee. Look at that. That is absolute game over. Women were pork chop sideburns. Look where the arms end. She can barely wipe her own ass. Look. She got long legs and a short body. She got a shoulder tilt. She got an arm hanging akimbo. But the most important part of this picture is that beautiful female gait right there. Wilt Chamberlain's a woman. Final answer. And of course, she's also got the turkey tree right there on a jumper to tell you who she's aligned with. The Masons. She's a Mason. She's a Shriner. She's the Illuminati. She's a Jesuit. Whatever you want to call them. I don't care. It's all the same thing. The bunch of Satanists. Small face, tiny ears, beautiful bottom lip. I can't say you'd have been the prettiest of girls, Kareem. I'd be a liar if I did. But you certainly are one of the tallest. Oh my gosh, look at the size difference. But she looks weird, look. Her hips look weird. She stands in an awkward position. I told you, when they grow the women this big, I think the skeleton folds in on itself. That's why you see all these tall people, Andre the Giant, all these big, massive footballers and wrestlers, etc. They crumple up underneath their own skeleton because I don't think you're supposed to grow the woman this big. Or maybe it's just the fact that you're using the wrong hormones to do it. And the ratio doesn't allow you to grow them this big. You can grow them that big, but they crumple up. Which is what I see with nearly all of these. Even Darth Vader, Dave Prost or whatever his name was. That one ended up on... They all end up on stilts, on sticks. There, on a stick. Every time, on a stick. They can't walk anymore when they get older. She sure could jump high, couldn't she, Bruce Lee? That was had nearly 7 foot in it. Yeah, when I first saw this Game of Thrones, I was like, oh, Bruce, you're screwed. Not realising that this is a woman, look. Could have had the reach on that arm. But she's 7 foot tall. However, if you put a real man next to this woman, his reach is going to be at least another 5 inches longer than this. Not only is it going to be longer, the bones are going to be thicker, much denser. These are the Amazon warriors that scared the people that went into the jungles, you know, when they first visited the Amazons and that, and these Amazonian princesses were there. Look at these 3 dudes in the background. Look at those 3. That one there was, and that one. They were standing out to me straight away in the little picture. There, I could tell they were men. I could tell those 2 were men from that picture right there. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Peter Mayhew, yeah, he's on crutches as well, isn't he? They're all on crutches. I think they crumple up under their own weight. I don't think it... Because they're doing something that's not viable. It's not the way God created woman to be 7 foot tall. He created her to be the smaller of the species, the delicate one, the one with the curves, because you're womanly. You're not supposed to grow you this big. There may have been big and tall women in the past, you know, through the ages, why the doors were so big, I agree. Uh, but whatever happened, God shrunk the kids. Honey, I shrunk the kids. You know, God made us smaller for some reason. The giants were out of control, right? Uh, Adam, the first man, lived 936, 37 years or something, and stood 30 odd foot tall, according to Bible references. They were all giants, all of them, all the way up until Babylon after the flood, and then it stopped, and then it started again somewhere in the, I don't know, I'd say the 1930s or 40s, when World War II, all the experiments they were doing, that was all this. It was all of this. There was nothing else. All the Mengele, all the German stuff that they say is, I don't know what they called it. They called it something experiments. It was all to do this. It was all DNA testing and splicing or whatever they do to create these monsters. Kareem Abdul Jabbar walking. Female Bigfoot. Look at that. Lent inward, arm backward. It literally looks like the female Bigfoot look with the arm cocked backwards. I mean, you don't need anything other than that, right? That's a perfect example of a woman walking. There she is again. Look how she leans forward into the walk. The only time I lean forward like that when walking is when I'm going up the hill. Or up a hill, should I say. Kareem Abdul Jabbar, it's a woman, final answer. What's my back file saying? Oh, I didn't put you in there. Paste. Search. What's the search for Kareem? We'll finish up. So, Bruce Lee was a small woman. Kareem Abdul Jabbar is a big woman. Look at the wingspan on this woman. Look at the length of this bicep. Bearing in mind she is 7'3" or something ridiculous. But the women nonetheless stood like Jesus. Why? Muhammad Ali with Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul. Hillary Clinton shaking hands with her. Any of the stories that are true about these bastards, if they are true, I hope that God sends you in an instant, in the blink of an eye, straight to the place where you should be. There's some horrible stories about this one. Horrible. Hearing a fucking wife. If any of them are true, I hope God sends you swiftly. Look at the size of that fella there in the red dress. Are you paying attention, Neo? Or you're looking at the dude in the red dress? Is that Denzel's husband? I don't know if that's Denzel's husband, but it is what it is, folks. Right, where am I? Let's come back. Kareem Abdul Jabbar. Are you there, Kareem?